Ryan Nadeau and Samantha Perry with you on a beautiful Breeders' Cup Friday. You can see here in Hollandale Beach. We hope to see you out here, and it is morning as we're going to be with you from now on at about 11 a.m. Starting today, first post reverts to a noon first post, so we'll be here bright and early.
Yep, we are, and lots of time for racing today.
Yeah, and looking forward to it as well. Of course, the big Breeders' Cup card out in California at Del Mar, both today and tomorrow. We hope to see you out here. We're going to have a lot of things going on here, and we've got strong racing both today and tomorrow. 10 races today that end with a turf stakes, 11 tomorrow ending with a turf stakes as well. Rainbow Six now on a 10-race Friday card will go in race number 5. And we're just starting. It was hit again the other day, right? $50,000, or we paid it the other day.
Yeah, we had the mandatory.
So there you go. See there, we're going to have an estimated pool of $50,000. I would expect pools to be pretty healthy throughout the weekend with a lot of eyes now. Of course, Del Mar, but also here as well. So we've got that going on. We've got an early pick 5 going as well in race number 1, and we're about 54 minutes to post, and I've got a $30 ticket. Very few scratches on the card, at least meaningful ones. I didn't really lose much of anything on the card. So here's the $30 ticket, 3 deep there. We've got in race number 2 there, and the top pick is the 5, and that is the coldest. Race 3 is the single, my best bet of the day, Bal de Mar for the Walensky. Speaking of Del Mar, they summer out there, and as did this filly. Five deep in race 4 with my long shot at Stab with the 1, Aris Kashi, the firster for the Koi Barn. And in race number 5, 2 deep in there. 1, 2, actually 2-1 is the order. Things are getting hairy. The 2-2L winners, things are getting hairy in Bold Looker on that one. That looks like a good time to take on Better off Class Rises. $30 early pick 5 ticket. We'll get here on a firm turf course in the opener, and that's good. And rails are at 0 feet, right?
Yeah, they are, which
That's
is
pretty good.
It is. Yeah, they only have 1 race where they're out as of earlier this week. I'll have to check on that again.
So we've kind of got everybody in the mix here, but you will start it with the 7 Cali Man for Dave Browdy. I would think we're going to try to wire this field.
Yeah, and this is my long shot too. I just like that the grass race a few starts back. It was the only grass race. It was the only 2-turn race besides the Tapeta race. So that was his first time going 2 turns, and I just felt like he ran quite well. And this field is what they are at the end of the day. It's kind of just anybody's game, and so why not take a shot with a horse that we know he can handle the 2 turns.
Yeah, and I think you would readily agree that his speed will play a lot better on a firm turf course than it will the Tapeta as well. I got to take first shot fired. I don't want to, but he's going to run now on the turf. He's back with Sandino Hernandez. His turf races are better than his Tapeta races. We could do the show a year from now, and he might still be in this race.
He could be.
But I think he might be slightly better than these.
I would hope so today. At least they've gelded him since. Maybe that will kind of change a little bit. Things.
He does always find a way to lose, though. There's no doubt about that. I want to mention the AEs are out of this race. The AEs, For the Love of Art, is the 6, the Cassie horse. He took a lot of money last time off a long layoff, and he ran off and stopped.
Yeah, he did. You would expect him to be sharper today because, in his defense, he was coming off of a very, very lengthy layoff. So maybe today he's a bit sharper.
Yeah, and he's got a couple decent turf races. It's a very good sign they bet him last time. Right. If nothing else, early pick 4 in race number 2, and I'll tweet that ticket out a little bit later on. These are 3-year-olds or 4 and up, which have never won 3 races. The tag is $8,000. We do have a long shot scratch of the 2 Norfie, 6 furlongs on a fast main track. We're both on the same horse here, and that is a 5 D Coldest for Rohan.
Yeah, this is a race where you could run it about 5 different times and probably get a different result, but they had him in for the waiver last time. That was a good sign here. Elijah Greenidge will stay aboard. That was, before he had broken his hand a few months ago, that he was doing some really good work for Rohan.
Yeah, and I think you said it perfectly, and I like the waiver. That he didn't want to lose this horse last time. You can take him now, but he got the tightener out of the way, and I think it's the old all systems go angle. Pepper ran okay last time. This is a horse I've used a few times for the Hertax. He ran okay last time, although it had maybe a little bit of someone had to be second feel to him.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. It's really outside of a couple. You wonder what they're going to do with the rest of the prices on this race.
How about forwardly the 7? We got a stat for Dave Fawkes that Ronnie pulled up. He'll be with us later. He's coming out of the Starship Mocha races, and those are pretty good races. 14% route to sprint on dirt the past 3 years. This is a barn now that it's the entirety of 2024 has been going very good.
Yeah, no kidding. And this is maybe not, for most people, maybe not a percentage that is that eye-opening, but for this barn, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, Dave's solid. Very, very solid, having a great year. Breeders' Cup winning trainer, by the way, a couple times over. Race number 3 now. We'll go 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta. These are state-bred maiden special weights, fillies and mares. 3-year-olds and up. Couple scratches in here. The 1 Seminole Sally is out, as is the 5 Layla Bella Girl. She is out as well. My best bet of the day is your top pick too. Bal DeMar was going to be tough regardless. The scratches are only going to flatter her.
Yeah, they really are, and she brings some speed too. That Del Mar turf course, I feel like plays pretty similar to here because it's just got a lot of cut in it, and she already has that race out of the way. Now she was the Tapeta, but hey, the works have been nice.
My goodness. Now the Walensky's are going to work them fast. There's no doubt about that. But they're both on the Tapeta. They're both bullets, and they're both very, very fast, which they do in the morning to be upfront about that. Everybody works fast on the Tapeta in the morning. We've got the replay of Girl in Blue and Fussy Girl, the 6 and the 2 today, and in this spot here. Now Seminole Sally is in here as well, but as we mentioned, she scratched out. So we'll take a look at the replay because they ran 3 and 4 in this spot. Girl in Blue is on the point here, and her speed's going to help her in this spot. She couldn't quite see it out. She's going to tire late. She ran pretty well. I mean, this is a pretty solid race. I don't know if it's going to cut it today, but it was a pretty solid effort by both of them.
Yeah, it was. That was a Rohan Crichton runner that 1-5, so it was like she had to win. Fussy Girl just kind of leaves herself with too much to do, or at least that time, but that was her first Tapeta start, so maybe you can excuse that a little bit, but now she's on the rail.
I agree with that. It's not the ideal running style, and some speed scratches out too. How about Neoprene, the 7? She's a big hitter. She faced males last time.
Yeah, she did, and I think by default, she got a big speed figure. I don't believe in those. I know you don't really either, so that's hard to believe in. But I will say the post position is incredible.
Yeah, and she's another that's thrown a couple bullets down in the morning since that last race. It was off a little bit of a freshening as well. We'll get one more in between for the break here. Race number 4 is a 12.5 maiden claimer. This is the bottom here for 2-year-olds. We go 5.5 on a fast main track. It's a clean field. We're all over the place. It's that kind of race. It's the type of race where I think people are going to spread very, very deep. You've got a price with the 5, Victor Barbosa's Grand Avila.
Well, a big drop here.
The 4, excuse me.
Yeah, so that's one good thing about this horse, but the bad thing is he did absolutely no running on debut. At least he showed a little bit of interest early on. The works, at least on the dirt, have been solid in the morning, so now moving from the Tapeta to the 1 turn on the dirt, well, maybe it'll wake him up.
First time gelding as well. The thing that bugged me, and I certainly used this horse, he's sick. He's 5-1 in a special weight. They pay $130 for him. Man, now he's at the bottom.
Yeah, not
Yikes,
good.
not ideal at all. I'm stabbing with the 1 Erish Kashi, the firster from Coy. The works don't give anything away, but this has been a barn that has shown it can pop with a first-time starter.
Yeah, big time, and at big prices as well. So if you catch him, you're going to get paid. But the bad news about that is, I feel like he's gone very cold lately.
A little bit. Edwin's here. That's a big positive. One of our top riders, Edwin Gonzalez. The rail is not ideal, but we're looking for a price. It's that kind of race. The 8 is McCurgan for Rodolfo. The 8, 9, and 10 all have solid form. There's no reason you can't use them.
No, and it seems like one of those races. Well, you went 5 deep in yours. Yeah, so it's one of those races where you can, because there's not a lot to go off of in their last races, and you don't always know, are they going to handle the dirt from the Tapeta, then Tis the Moon. It seems like these Tis the Laws are running on just about anything and running well, but the muddy track now gets to a fast track. Maybe that'll help.
We can show you that race too, and not a heck of a lot going on here, but it's tough to make up almost 4 lengths on a sloppy track when they hum a little bit early. The horses that were 1 and 2, they finished 2 and 1 at the wire. They didn't come back. I thought this was an okay. You can see him kind of getting out of the bridle a little bit here, and he does re-break very nicely, actually.
Yeah, he does, and it's almost like when he saw that other horse coming next to him, he took back off again, which is a good sign. At least he's got a little bit of competitiveness in
there you
him.
go.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly, and I think he's only going to be beating a length and 3/4 here, and at the top of entering the far turn, it looked like it was going to be Nowheresville. So I thought this was actually a pretty good effort. How are we going to do today on dry land over to our right remains to be seen, but I think he's got something to work with here. for Jose Garofalo. Pretty solid effort coming on, running on late as well. So those are the first 4. We've got a 10-pack for you here today on Breeders' Cup Friday. Good stakes to end the card on the turf as well. We'll take a short break. When we come back, it's Rainbow Six time, and Ronnie's got the tickets. Stay tuned.
And they're off.
New DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Easily switch between views. Access the most trusted information in horse racing with DRF All Access past performances. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
And welcome back to Gulfstream today. Brian and Samantha with you. Coming on early now from the time going forward. It's a 12 noon post now going forward. We will be with you each and every racing day. Gulfstream today will kick off at 11 a.m. So take note of that. It's not a Breeders' Cup special or anything like that. We're going to be here 11 a.m. first post, noon going forward. Don't forget championship meet, of course, right in the front now. It opens on Thanksgiving Day this year, November 28th. That is 27 days away.
There you go.
4 weeks from yesterday. How about that? The Rainbow Six, though, kicks off in race number 5 on this 10-race card, $50,000 estimated jackpot. Ronnie's over there in the office warming up. He'll be out here for the opener, and he's got the ticket, and we will take a look at it right now.
43.20 is the play, and you can see there in race number 6, the 6th, that must be his best bet. Miss Gambolini, it's mine as well. He's spreading in race number 7, race 8, just too deep. The number 1, Bluff, and the number 2, Excuses. Race number 9. The 3 logical horses in what is a pretty head scratcher of a race, and in the finale, the Sellers Shiraz, a nice little 3-year-old filly stakes race. The 4, Majestic Venezuela, and the 10 and the 12, Di Regresso and View for Jack Sisterson, who just lays over the field on class. The rails are at 66 feet for that finale, and that's the only race that is at that setting today.
Yeah, the best horse in the race by a month and a half is really going to have to earn it. Yep. But Viv Verve is certainly the best horse in there. But, boy, she got no favors by the draw or the rails, for that matter, either, right?
Not at all.
So let's kick it off here in race number 5. It's an interesting race. It's a 2L, 3 and up here, 4-year-olds which have never won 3. 3-year-olds or 4 which have never won 3. Tag is $8,000. Just a jock switch on the 7. Renzo Rojas is going to ride. We're going to show you things are getting hairy. You can look at this race for an hour and you can't find any speed other than things are getting hairy.
Yep.
And I want to show you how good he ran last time, because they really made him earn it. And to his credit, in his first start against Winners, he doubled up and he did it easily. This was a really good effort for a horse that was stepping up and facing Winners for the first time.
Yeah, it really was. And he was one that admittedly I had played many, many times and couldn't get him to the winner's circle. And the light bulb finally went on. Now his biggest enemy is he refuses to switch leads.
Yeah.
He's on his left lead here. And his race 2 starts back. When he broke his maiden, he finally switched leads. But old habits die hard, and he was back at it again there. It didn't matter too much there because he was just better, but maybe in a race like this is when it could matter.
It's possible. I don't think we'll run a race this month where a horse is looser on the lead than this one. Edgar Perez knows what to do. They'll have to run him down. Flatter Me, I know this is the vintage you kind of angle. Listen, he's 2 for 36, but both races were won on the main track. And I don't see it really in my form except all the way back in May 10th. He's been routing on the Tapeta.
Yeah, he has. And his last race on the dirt here was early May.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that this horse can beat the 2 because he has no speed.
Right.
Like you said, there's just none of it. But maybe that closing outside kick and he gets Miguel Vasquez aboard could maybe a little bit more aggressively put in the race.
Yeah, I hope. I was wondering where his form is because he had run well right after that race.
Right.
on the Tapeta, and now he hasn't. Bold Looker dominated the 2Ls last time too, but he did it from the back, and that's a problem today, right?
He did, and that was a day that I felt like the outside pass and the closers were so much better. So I would feel like that's a play against today.
Rowdy Jess might have a little pace early on, maybe. I don't know. Comes out of that Starship Mocha race.
Yeah, that's kind of pay attention to the horse forwardly comes out. Yeah,
earlier on, and maybe that'll flatter Rowdy Jess a little bit. Late pick 5 kicks off on the turf in race number 6. The rails are at 66 feet here too, 66 in this one as well in race number 6. It's a pretty good one too. It's an optional claimer here for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. A clean field of 10, and it's late pick 5, and it's TT pick 3. Did I? Oh, you got that right. So we're gonna. Samantha's got both of them. We'll take a look at them now.
Yeah, and it's a $54 play for me in my late pick 5. I am singling right off the bat here. Race 7. I do scratch into the number 4, Air to the Roar. My top pick I lost. Race number 8. I do have the 2 on top. That is Excuses. Race number 9. Throw a dart at it. I've got the 8 on top, but there's nobody that I like a whole lot in this spot. And in the finale, I do have the 12 on top. The post, like Brian mentioned, did her no favors, but she's 2 for 2 on this course. I think she just outclasses the field. Now, as far as the Tropical Turf pick 3, what a great wager. Again, I'm going to say this until ears start to bleed. 15% takeout here. It's the only turf parlay that is this low of a takeout. At Del Mar, I believe it's 24%.
Oh boy.
And they're all turf. So here we go. It's the single right off the rip, and then you see in the finale the 12, but I am going to use a couple of others in the last race just in case the post position becomes too much of a problem. I do really like Majestic Venezuela. I know Ron had that as well. And then Sleepwalker, and good luck to DJ Stables today. They've got a big day to win the juvenile fillies.
Yeah, out at Del Mar, and we like those guys and the connections as well. $27, and she's not blowing smoke. It's a phenomenal bet. Routinely plays well over the parlay, so I highly advise to take a look at it. Well, let's see. I've got your source on top as well. I didn't have Miss Gambellini singled because she's never run on a real turf course, but her Tapeta debut was awesome. She was actually the other Safi that day, too. Forget who it was, but you talk a little bit more about her. She ran okay at Kentucky Downs.
Yeah, she did. It was a huge field. Like you said, that's a very tough track to run across. She gets Mika Husbands aboard. What a incredible apprentice rider he's been so far. Of course, when you're riding Safi Joseph's horses, they make you look good, but he puts them in right spots, which is what I like a lot. And I think she'll like this turf course here.
Yeah, I mean, she should. She's a daughter of More Than Ready. They paid a good sum, 3 1/4 for her. We've lost More Than Ready since, but he has been a very prolific turf sire, he was, I should say, and Miss Gambellini looks destined to carry that on a little bit. From the 4 is, well, I guess we'll call him the other Safi. I'm not going to get involved in musical chairs. Edgard rode this Miss Gambellini at Kentucky Downs last time, and here he's popping on Olympic Prank. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. This is a horse that I didn't want to use Miss Gambellini and not use her, but I just think she's a cut below.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if somebody else was training Olympic Prank, she's 20 to 1, to be perfectly honest with you. But that's not the case, so you better pay attention. Don't sleep on Palaio's Princess for Sandino and Amity. She summered at Del Mar. They took her from Del Mar. She can run.
Yep, she really can. Now, how do those races stack up against here? Honestly, I don't think that they're as good, but at least she's freshened up, and we see these Sandino horses that come from Del Mar. They make an impact.
Yeah, and she's got speed, too. And I think that's the important thing. Other than the favorite, Miss Gambellini, I don't see a lot in here. I think she's better. I think she would be a big favorite without Miss Gambellini. Late pick 4 kicks off in race 7. We're on the Tapeta here in a starter optional claimer. Fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. We've got some scratches here now. The 6 Cajun Fantasy, the 11 Chloe's Toy are out. The 14 and 15 are out, too. The 13 is going to play. As difficult a morning line as I had to try to make, you could go any different number of ways. I'll use the main contenders in the late pick 4, and we'll show you that ticket right now $18 play for me. I lost my 5th place horse in this race, who I did use on the ticket, so it cut it down to 18. Race number 8, the top pick is the 2, Excuses. Race number 9, the top pick is the 3, Pure Class. And I'm not trying to beat Viv Verve in the feature. I just think she's way too good, and we'll see if Drayden Van Dyke can figure it out from there, and I've got no worries about that at all. She's 9-5 only because she drew literally out on Hollandale Beach Boulevard. Otherwise, she'd probably be about she is about 3-5 on paper, but you'll get a little better price than that probably because people are A, going to try to beat her, B, the post is not ideal either. But that remains to be seen. We'll get to it in a second. I'm interested to see what you got going on here, because this is a race where, my goodness, you could go 5, 6, 7 different ways.
Yeah, and I did scratch into the 4, Heir to the Roar. So my top pick was the 6, and I'm out there. Heir to the Roar is coming off of a win, which typically I don't really like playing horses off of a win, but it was a gutsy one nonetheless. It was first off the claim. We know Victor Barboza is so good with that, and maybe he's just figured out the key to her, but hey, so is everybody. She's a competitive horse.
She is, and it's a perfect post for her. Amicio will put her in the race early. We don't have to worry about her dropping out the back in a big field. So she is. She's your 4-1 morning line favorite. We'll see what happens at post. I'm with you in that I don't like to pick horses that won last time on the Tapeta, but with the 2, my wife knows it all. We'll show you the replay as well, because there's a group of them in here. Heir to the Roar is in here as well. We could have shown, and now showing too. This was a very good effort last time. She's going to be 4th in this race, but she came back and walloped them last time. Maybe she's getting good. Maybe it's her turn. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the biggest. Those are the 3 key words there, because in this race right here, you would never have thought, if I told you, okay, a few weeks later she came back and won by over 2 lengths. It's just one of those big guessing games. Yeah,
and she had a little bit of trouble that day. Nothing that was going to cost her. She would have been a little closer. And like you said, she comes back to win. Gary Jackson quietly having a really nice 2024. That's good to see. You know, Safi and Edgar down on the inside with Hits Different. She could be favored in here as well. She just lost to Chloe's Toy. She's a big threat too.
Yeah, she is. She hasn't gotten a win this year, but her race record's been a bit spotty this year, so don't read into that too much.
What about Holiday Decision, who gets to the Tapeta last time and looks like a new horse?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like this is a horse that is a huge player in here, and the Tapeta was a guessing game with this horse because she had only had 1 start prior to that last one on the Tapeta, and that was in Kentucky. So I don't know. It seems like this is a nice filly. I mean, for the level at least.
Yeah, exactly. And she didn't beat Chumps last time. Joe Orsino runs her in an optional claimer. She wasn't in for a tag, and she dominated. So she's a big player right back. Good one on the turf in race 8. Kicks off the late pick 3. Those are dollars. Don't forget that. 7.5 in this maiden special weight here. The rails are down for this spot. We both got the same horse, and I think the path to victory will be pretty honest. We'll take a deep breath and see if Excuses can wire the field.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if this was a 66 feet rail setting, he would have maybe lucked out a little bit more, but the 2 turns on the turf, they tried to get him for it last time. He couldn't. It was rained off, but luckily the weather's cooperated, and now we get to see him on the grass. He's a have to catch a tiger who's won 2 turns on the grass.
Yeah, we got a firm, fast turf course out there, and they like to hear their hooves rattled out there, and speed's going to play, and it's going to play very, very well. The 8 is Win with Fate. Jerry O'Dwyer, the G with the circle. You like that? First time gelding, trying turf.
Well, this actually works out well for him because he's got a nice closing kick, and these rail settings are so much more conducive when they're at 0 for a horse like him. Good outside post, and like you said, gelded. He
got shuffled a little bit last time. It wasn't an ideal run into the first turn. He had some problems, and to his credit, he still ran pretty well. Awesome Edition. There's a few interesting horses in here. The 4 Awesome Edition, the 6 Venezuelan Hope. They both kind of sort of look the same in that they're stretching out and they've closed sprinting.
I told you about this as well, I think earlier this week, that Sammy Marin is here riding a few, and I remember him from Monmouth. It was actually his first season whenever I first started at Monmouth, and he's a really good rider, and he puts his horses in really smart races, smart places, and he rides a smart race. So take note of him this weekend.
Yeah, he's going to be here, and he's got several horses that can run a little bit,
Yeah.
too. So, yeah, some good insight there. Late double in race number 9. We're at 6.5 furlongs on a fast main track. 3-year-olds and up here and an optional claimer. It's a clean field of 8. We're going to show you God's Timing. Samantha's going to talk about God's Timing, who's 7-5 on the line here, and it's going to be a big, big favorite for Safi, and I ain't buying it.
That's fair. I don't blame you. I'm not. I mean, I went 4 deep in this race here. And I don't have your top pick, which is funny enough. But God's Timing did not beat anybody of any significance. I will say that. But he did it professionally, which you like to see. These Catalina cruisers have been running very well. Yeah, and this is a good outside post here. Now, I'm not saying that this horse is going to wall up the field, but I think he's a big player.
Everything stacks up to him, doubling up.
Yep.
He should be a strong favorite. I get it. I just was very underwhelmed with his race. Nando's in for a tag on Sunday. He's actually my best bet on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
But he's in for a tag on Sunday, so you're not beating anything in him. And I just felt like that was – we've seen some of these Safi horses that they're really good. Others maybe will take a wait and see. I got to see a little more from him facing winners today for the first time too. That's all.
Yeah.
Pure Class has got races that are okay. He was, I'm not going to say thrown to the wolves last time, but he's got no business playing with Frankie's Empire and Big City. What's Dave Fox do? He freshens him a little bit.
Yep.
He's going to come back here. I think he's got some talent.
Yeah, he does, and we haven't seen a lot from him lately.
Nope.
So on his good day, yes, he's so dangerous. But what do you get here today? Maybe I need to add him in my ticket. I feel like you're pretty good at finding horses like this, and you can sneak a price sometimes.
He's going to be a square price too, and
Yeah,
the
he
beauty
will.
of God's Timing is he's going to bury everybody
Exactly.
on the board. Sound of the Beast is in there for Rohan. He's got the big figure in the slop. His other races not quite as good. We got a stat on Kent Sweezy. He's got the 7 Grouch. We both have him in the mix a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Good to see Kent back in the entry box here as well. Here's one Ronnie pulled up. This is not bad at all. 21% turf to dirt.
No, not at all. And those horses that he was running against on the grass were competitive runners in New Jersey over the summer/fall time. He's a New Jersey bred, and there are 2 New Jersey breds in this race, Grouch and Electric Eel. I feel like both of these are really big players. I use both of them,
Yeah,
too.
they're not impossible at all. And again, because of the God's Timing in there, everybody else gets floated up on the board, and that's a good thing if you're looking for some value. Rainbow players are probably going to, if they're trying to sweep that race, they're going to buy that race.
Yeah.
Sweep the sequence, they're going to buy that race. Well, best for last in the Cellar Shiraz, $95,000 on the line for the 3-year-old fillies. We'll go a mile and a 16th. The rails are out at 66 feet. We both got the 12, Viv Verve. We'll show you why here, because this was back in the thick of the championship meet.
Yep.
What a ride here by the Hall of Famer Javier Castellano. She's going to split horses in the Sanibel Island. You can see her getting tightened up on. This is, I mean, if Ozara was in this race today, she would be, 1-5. This was a really good effort by Viv Verve.
It was really, really impressive. This isn't an easy task to do, especially for a horse that had just turned 3 years old a couple months beforehand, and she took her show on the road from here, as she should have. For Jack Sisterson, she's run a couple of thirds going shorter at Kentucky Downs last time in a graded stakes, and before that at Saratoga and the Lake George. Hey, she's just classes over this field.
She ran about 7 steps in that race too, and she still won in a canter.
Exactly, that's a great point. Yeah,
a little scary. Take a look at a stat here. This is sprint to route for Jack, and solid 16%. Look at the ROI. It's positive. If she trips out, they won't beat her. It's as simple as that.
Right.
But she's going to be a very short number. There are other talented horses in here, and that's probably led by the 4 Majestic Venezuela, herself a stakes winner here at Gulfstream Park, and we can show you her effort.
Yep.
She won the Miss Gracie 2 back, and that was her last time on the turf here. And here we go here. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Mojave Desert ran well in this race.
Yeah.
She's here. Lady Cha-Cha was tiring, but this is all about Majestic Venezuela. She got a lot of class for Victor Barboza.
She does, and she's 2 for 2 on this grass
Yep.
course, so her races are unblemished here. She's a big, big player. She obviously benefited so much more from the draw.
Yeah, Show Off is in here as well. She runs on a little bit late, too. And, Mojave Desert she's going to try to pop this field. I would assume she doesn't get the weight break with Mika Husbands, but she gets a hot apprentice who has shown an affinity to put horses on the lead. She couldn't quite see it out that day, but it was a much improved effort.
Yeah.
Sleepwalker, we both got the DJ horse in the mix a little bit. I thought she ran okay at Colonial, and she's got a nice first trip over kind of running style.
Yeah, she does, and she's so tactical too, which is going to help as well. Now the Colonial race is stacking up to here. The word is still out, but competitive field at least nonetheless that she faced last time.
Yeah, and she has a win on our turf course too. Don't overlook that, albeit back in May when some of the bigger outfits were gone, but she has a win over this turf course, and that's never going to hurt anybody. So we got a good one to end the card today in the Seller Shiraz, much like tomorrow as well on the 11 race card tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we'll take a look at the lightning round here before we let you go and get ready for the opener. And as we do each and every Friday now, soon to be Thursday, we'll start it off with the standings. And I didn't check this out, actually. You put this together, so now I'm interested. Okay, Edward and Edwin, tops.
Yep,
Good
they
stuff.
are. Yeah, it is great stuff. The very competitive. It's kind of just been switching underneath quite a bit, but Edgar Zayas is now tied with Edwin Gonzalez, which good for Edwin. He's been riding quite well.
He has, and I may be totally wrong on this, but I don't think Edgard's missed many days bopping around either. So this is pretty legit, and I know this is the biggest spread to everybody else because I think last week there were 4, maybe 5 guys within 1 win. So that's pretty cool as well. Edwin doing his thing as he always does. Trainer standing's going to look a little different, though. We want to wish Safi Joseph Jr. and his team, well, we want to wish Jose D'Angelo as well good luck out at Del Mar. They got live long shots out there.
They do,
And here's Safi going on doubling up.
Yep, he is. And, of course, we'll see Sullivan Angel tomorrow, who won the Princess Rooney here. So excited for him. And he just keeps on keeping on.
You know, Baticata ran a 1 on the Thoroughgraphs last time?
You know she's scratched.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah,
right.
sorry.
Well, that's okay. Well, scratch that.
Yeah,
Literally.
sorry. Literally.
Speaking of the Breeders' Cup, the wagering guide. This has got literally everything you need, and it's free out there. So jump on and check that out. It's on Twitter. It's online, the website, all of that. And I know a lot of people put a lot of goodies in there.
Yep, there's some great information, so make sure to go online and check that out because it is very, very handy to have.
Yep, we reminded everybody already, but we'll do it one last time. The post time now, we revert to noon. First post, so we'll be with you each and every day at 11 a.m. Thank you, guys. That was a late edition. The boys have been working hard this week, and it is not unappreciated. Thank you so much. Best bet for you today.
Miss Gambellini for me.
All right.
Ron Single in his Rainbow Six.
Oh, wow. Bold single. All right. Not bold single, but it's tough. It could be a tough race.
Yep.
I am in race 3 with Bal Damar, who's going to be some low-hanging fruit there, especially with a couple scratches. How about your long shot?
In the opener, the Kalaman, the Dave Brady horse. Yeah.
All right. That should be a square
it
price.
Should, yeah.
And for me, where am I? Oh, yeah, the Firster. We're going to check the tote board there.
Yeah.
Firster down on the inside. Edwin is aboard. I think that's a positive, so we'll see. We're happy to have everybody aboard. Hey, we got Darren Gagne up as well. Pete's on his normal vacation, so he'll put the cue in the rack a little bit and take a knee and rest it out for the championship meet. We got Darren Gagne, I believe, for a couple weeks. He's upstairs with your scratches and changes. Best of luck and happy Breeders' Cup Friday here from Gulfstream Park.